Alright, this one was originally slated to be uploaded the weekend, but I figured since Summer Games Fest is tonight and E3 starts was over the weekend, I would do it before everything kicked off, just so that, you know, if if it is the case and what I say happens, then I really don't have to do it when it's happened. But there is a rumor as well. There's more rumors lately that Bioshock 4 is going to be announced over the weekend. Some rumors about some gameplay mechanics and details have come out, and then of course there's those people saying what they think would be good for the fourth game. So what we're going to do is go through what the rumors are and what people think will be the kind of the best way to go about the fourth game, and just kind of round up all here just in case it does happen to get announced across E3. There is going to be some more Bioshock videos over the weekend. I just want to go through each one individually and say why they were good. Obviously, I've done that kind of series in the past across Resident Evil and Evil Within and stuff like that, so I'm going to move on to Bioshock as well after that, so that'll come up for the weekend. But this one, primarily, is about Bioshock 4, so if you're interested in Bioshock, or you're interested in Bioshock 4 announcements, do let me know. Obviously, if there is an announcement, I'll cover it here on the channel anyway, like an official announcement. But without any further ado, let's get into the rumours and the fan kind of requests, you could say. Alright, so moving into Bioshock 4, the things that seem to be rumoured to be official things is that the game will be shifting to an open world RPG type game. That could be good, it could be good for the game, but there's also ways where it couldn't be as good compared to the first three. But in an RPG game, you usually make your own character, and they're usually you know. And with the Bioshock series already, you go on to an Infinite. You play a character in the game who is built, and the story kind of revolves around them as a person. But I feel with RPG games, especially if you're not actually playing a built character, obviously there is RPG games where you are, like the Final Fantasy series and The Witcher, you're playing as those characters, making your own. Yes, it's good that you're essentially in the game, and I understand that, but the story in these games is so driven around the character you're playing. It just kind of it'd be interesting to see what they do with it if that is the case. RPG elements, on the other hand, like loot and side quests and stuff like that, super cool. I feel like I could definitely do that. And with an open world game, imagine an open world Rapture. Well, that would be insane. Like an actual fully explorable Rapture would be so cool. Next up, we have player choices. This is the thing that's supposed to be included in the fourth game. Obviously, with some RPG games, there is things you can do that affect the outcome of the story and the fates of other characters involved. Can't think about it like trying to think of a good example of these type of things. Like, this isn't really an RPG, but think about the Walking Dead Telltale games, where anything you do affects the game around you. There is other games like that. Dishonored kind of does the same thing. Dishonored is probably closer to think of what they could do, because obviously, Dishonored, your actions affect you personally and the area around you. So, for example, in Dishonored, if you are going through as a merciless assassin, which is where you kill everyone, the game ups the ante a little bit. Like they'll put harder things in place for you to fight, and sometimes you can sabotage areas prematurely. So when you go to a new area, there's not a guard post or something like that. Like there's things like that in Dishonored, but more like with an open world game, it's probably going to affect the storyline and side quest decisions. I don't think it's going to be massive, because in a lot of games where you have player decisions, they're not huge, and if they are, there's very few that are really like big ones. Coming from my personal background with games to have that system in the main story, we have obviously Resident Evil 7 and even Mass Effect 3. There was player decisions in those games. Obviously 7 only had one, but one of them was essentially wrong, and then one of them was canon. And then in Mass Effect 3, you played through, again, it had like the karma system, whether you're good or bad, and then depending on your actions throughout the game, you got a different ending. Well, that could be a way they do it. Like, it doesn't really track the actions, but the things you do will affect the end of the game, if that makes more sense. But player decisions, that's definitely an interesting one to put into the game, I would say. But they're like the three biggest rumours for the game. Obviously the RPG elements, the custom characters, and probably the skill trees and more customization in terms of how you play, loot, stuff like that. The open world, and then obviously the player choices. But now we'll move on to the more fan requested kind of things people want to see in Bioshock. So doing some digging, I did find out that the main things people want is first to return to Rapture. The Rapture is the game's location in the first and the second game. They changed that in Infinite to be... I don't remember what the name of the place is in Infinite, I only played it once. But Rapture is the main location, Bioshock 1 and 2. And it's super nice, it looks super cool. It's like an underwater city, it looks really cool. It's massive, obviously you see like it pan out around you in the beginning of the first game. You've probably just seen it in the background gameplay, but you don't explore all of it obviously in the games because they're not linear, but they're condensed. And having an open world game, if that is the case, inside of Rapture would be super cool. Obviously Rapture is not the safest place on Earth, as you can tell, but having that atmosphere is just so cool in this game. Like, I always thought the atmosphere in Rapture was way better than Infinite's, but open world, if you're going to do open world, it has to go back to Rapture, surely, right? It has to. Next up is the Vega System. Obviously the Vegas are the abilities you get throughout the game. You know, there's one where you can electrify the floor, there's one where you can like shoot fireballs, there's some in Infinite that like you can possess people with, and stuff like that. It's super cool, stuff like that, super gimmicky abilities. More of that. Returning ones or new ones or both, awesome. If that's an RPG element thing, again with the Vegas, that could be really cool. You could make builds based around the Vegas instead of just having them throughout the game. You could build a whole character based around a certain 2 or 3 types of Vega. Like you could be a pyromancer guy or an electrocutioner, say that. But there's plenty of things you could do with RPG elements and the Vegas combined. Plenty of things, and they definitely need to come back because they're a lot of fun. They never went anywhere. Obviously they're in Infinite and 2 and 1, but more of it, or just the same amount of it. But either way, they need to be in the game still. It's kind of like, it's like a staple part of the game. It needs to be there. Next up is the return of the Little Sisters and the Big Daddy enemy things. Like, I don't have a lot of experience with Bioshock, but I do know these guys are tough. The Big Daddy like enemy fights are tough. Like, it's big armored dudes that just go to town on you, and they protect the Little Sisters. And there is options throughout the game where you ever choose to save the Little Sisters or kill them. To actually get that choice, you have to fight the Big Daddy that's protecting it, and they can be tough, especially on how difficult it is in the first game. But they need to come back. Obviously in 2 you are playing as one, which is super cool, but in the first game and in the second game you do fight them, and they are no joke, especially again on those hard difficulties. They are tanky, they are vicious, and they look super cool. They do look super cool too. But that system needs to come back. Obviously in the first game, and I believe the second game, whatever you did with Little Sisters gave you like essentially skill points or resources you could use to upgrade your character or buy things. I don't remember it specifically, it's been a while since I played the games, but that would again suit a RPG type game really well, because you can find these things around the world and use them to further upgrade your character, which is again kind of the point of an RPG. So bringing those back would be super cool. Even the option to like, because obviously the Big Daddy suits are like these armor suits. I don't really know the lore beyond it, so this might not be possible, but you could get your own, you know? You could find your own and use it and upgrade it your own way. Well, that would be super cool. You can use it to go through harder points in the game. You don't have to be in it all the time, and I don't know, that just sounds pretty cool to me, honestly. But yeah, they're the main kind of fan requested things that people want to see in the next game. So that's basically going to do it from me. I do want to, again, go through all the games again, one by one, and just say what was good about them. I do have a vague idea of the story, and obviously the bigger gameplay mechanics in the games. It's all kind of in there, but I don't remember the tinier, smaller parts of the lore. So going into specifics is a bit difficult. But again, I will be covering a video of each of them over the weekend. So that'll be Saturday, Sunday, Monday, that'll be one each, in between a couple more Resident Evil streams and any other announcements over the weekend that are to do with games based around what I'm working on. So there is a village announcement on Monday, like I said, so I'll be there Monday night when that happens, and then anything else that gets announced over the weekend that is interesting to me, and it'll be interesting to you. I'll cover as best I can. Probably not tonight because I just want to sit and watch, but I'll cover over the weekend. Like everything will be covered over the weekend. So there's probably a few videos up over the course of the next 3 to 4 days. But this has been Bioshock. Bioshock 4 could be re-announced this weekend. It could not be. Again, take the rumours with a pinch of salt. It's not 100% true until they say it's true. So if they say it's the case, great. If they don't, then something completely different. But yeah, this has been a quick little kind of roundup of what people want and what people are saying is potentially coming anyway. But the weekend will explain everything, especially if it is announced. So we will see. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.